is Justin, aka Swolly Ghosts, and I want to say thank you for the 233,000 views that we had on our last video that we created for max CPU usage on Warzone. Today, we're going to give you an update because there's been a lot of changes. Battle.net's changed, the game has changed, and we don't need the software process lasso anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right into setting up the new settings and getting the game running smooth for you for when you play the game. So sit tight and we're going to get right to it. So as you can see, we've got Battle.net open right now. We got the application open. Warzone is open right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the cogwheel, and what we're going to immediately do is check for updates. It's going to check for the updates. As you can see, I have an update. It updated. And now we can get into the settings and make sure that we're going to get the game running as smooth as possible. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the cogwheel. You're going to go to game settings. You're going to go to additional command line arguments, and you're going to check it. At this point, what you're going to do is you're going to type in -D3D11. This is basically going to run the game in Direct11 instead of Direct12. Don't ask me why, but for some reason the game runs better in Direct11 than it does in Direct12. Once you set this command, you're going to hit done. You can go back into the game settings and you can verify the additional command is actually still there. Go back to the cogwheel, show the game in Explorer, double click on the file, and scroll all the way down. You're going to see Modern Warfare Launcher and Modern Warfare. This is the launcher, which is Battle.net, and this is Modern Warfare, which is the game. So what you're going to do is you're going to highlight, right click, go down to Properties, and then what you're going to do is you're going to see Compatibility. What you're going to do is you're going to see both these boxes unchecked for Disable Full Screen Optimizations and Run the Program as Administrator. You're going to want to check both of these. Disable Full Screen Optimizations is basically so whenever you set your in-game settings to full screen or full screen borderless, the file itself is not going to automatically try and fix the situation or setting that you actually implemented into the game itself. So by doing this, whatever setting you have in the game is going to be what setting you're going to use, and it's not going to affect your FPS whatsoever, and it's not going to try and change the setting within the settings itself. The other thing you're going to do is you're going to run the game as administrator or run the program as administrator. The reason why you want to do this is because you want your CPU to have all of its attention on the game itself instead of all the other programs that are running on your computer. This basically makes it to where the game runs smooth and you don't have anything else interfering with the game. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit apply and click OK. You're going to do the same thing with Modern Warfare. Properties, compatibility, check both these boxes, click OK, click apply, and then click OK. Once you do this, you're going to close that window. You can close Battle.net and you can relaunch it. Because I had these settings already implemented, you can go ahead and launch the game and see if that works. If that does not work, what you can do is you can go into your files, go to your documents, click on Call of Duty Modern Warfare, click on Players, click on Advanced Options, and what you're going to see is you're going to see that this is version 1. This is your video memory scale, which is set to 1.2. Your render worker count, it might be 4, it might be higher. And then your config cloud storage enabled is set to 1. You do not want to touch your version and you don't want to touch the config. The only two things that you're going to touch in this is the video memory scale and the renderer worker count. If you run a 10 series or a 20 series graphics card, what I mean by this, if you run a 1060, 1070, 1080, 1080 Ti, even a 2080 Ti, what you want to do is you want to set the video memory scale to 0.85. However, I run a 3080, which is a 30 series, so I'm going to keep this at a 1.2. If you run a 30 series, you should be able to run the video memory scale at a 1.2. The renderer worker count is going to be set based on how many cores you have on your computer. Now take note, if you have an Intel, what you want to do is you want to use half of the total cores that you have on your CPU. I'm going to say this again. If you have an Intel, you want to run half of the total cores that you have on your CPU. My total cores on my CPU is 10, so I need to set this to 5. And the way that you can tell, and I'm going to go ahead and once you set your settings, you want to go to properties and you want to set it to read only. And the reason why you want to set it to read only is so that whenever you launch the game, this file doesn't automatically change on its own, because it will if you don't set it to read only after making your adjustments. How you check how many cores you have on your computer is you're going to go down to your taskbar, you're going to right click and you're going to hit Task Manager. Once you do this, go to your Performance tab, click on CPU, and it'll tell you how many cores total you have. There you see I have 10. Whereas since I am using an Intel, which is an Intel Core i9, right? Since it's Intel, you want to use half of the total cores, which I will be using 5 instead of 10. If you are running AMD, and let's say you have 12 cores, what you're going to do is you're going to double click. You're going to double click and you're going to set the total cores to 12, because that is how many cores you have on your AMD CPU. I'm going to say again, if you have an AMD, not an Intel, but an AMD CPU, you're going to set all of your cores to the renderer worker count. If you still have issues after setting up the max amount of cores that you have, you can say one lower and then save those settings. But like what I said, if you're Intel, half the cores. If you're AMD, all of your cores. After you've actually changed your renderer worker count and all the settings you need for your CPU whenever loading the game, what you're going to do is you're going to launch the game. So whenever you launch the game, it should launch as administrator. And we're going to pause while the game actually launches. All right, now that we have the game open and we've already went through all the settings for correcting our CPU renderer worker count through the settings, setting everything up through the additional commands through the D3D11, setting it to where it's on Direct 11 instead of Direct 12, and setting up our CPU priority. What we're going to do is we're going to set up our CPU priority for Modern Warfare Warzone, and how you're going to do that is you're going to hit Control Shift Escape. And you're going to go to details. At this point, what you're going to do is you're going to scroll all the way down until you see Modern Warfare running right here. You're going to right click on it. You're going to get set priority and you're going to set it to high. What this is going to do is every core that you have set to go towards the game itself, you want it solely focused on that game. If you have it set on normal, the cores are just going to go to whatever they need to go to keep the other processes running and keeping them stable. When you're playing the game, if you want the game to run at the best capacity, at the best performance that you possibly can have, you want to have that set to high. This is basically saying, hey, core 1 through 4, I want you to have all of your focus on Warzone. The rest of you, I don't care about, but these 4 cores, I want you completely focused on the game itself. That's basically what it is. This is eliminating the process for Process Lasso, and this is allowing you to manage it completely from Task Manager, and you don't have another resource you have to worry about. When you get done with that, what you're going to do is you're going to go into the game, and you're going to go into the settings. Granted, I have a 3080 right now. Before I had a 2070, and I still run almost the exact same settings minus a couple of changes. And the reason being is because the game has changed over time, and what made the game run better before doesn't make the game run better now. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over to your graphics settings, and I have mine set to full screen borderless. And that's just because if I need to pull up Task Manager for someone needing to see what's running on my Task Manager, considering I run tournaments and I go and I play in tournaments, sometimes I need to have Task Manager ready and available, and I don't have that freeze on my video capture card, and you can actually see the whole process of what's going on. So that's the reason why I run full screen borderless. However, if you want the game to run at the best possible settings, you want to have this on full screen. Your display monitor is going to be the monitor that you play your game on. However, since I do run my game through a video capture device in my streaming computer, I have my monitor set to my video capture device, and then my video capture device plays through. So what you're going to do is you're going to set your display monitor to whatever monitor you're using. Mine is going to be the video capture device. Your display adapter is going to be your graphics card that you have set. If you have two graphics cards in your computer, you want to make sure that whatever graphics card is designated for gaming is the one that you want to have set here in the display adapter settings. Your screen refresh rate is going to be set based on what your monitor's hertz is going to be. So if you have a 165 hertz monitor, like what I do, you're going to set your screen refresh rate to 165. If this is locked for you, it's because you have this set to full screen borderless. As soon as you set it to full screen and you apply, this is going to be unlocked, and you should be able to edit these settings. But like what I said, the reason why I don't do full screen is because of what you just saw. So I'm going to put this back on full screen borderless, and I'm going to apply these settings. Your display resolution is going to be whatever resolution your monitor is set to. So if you have a 1920 by 1080p monitor, you're going to have this set to 1920 by 1080p. If you have a 1440p, you're going to set it to 1440. Dynamic resolution, you want to have this disabled. Dynamic resolution frame rate, you don't have to worry about that because dynamic resolution is going to be disabled. Your aspect ratio is going to be set to automatic. Your VSync is going to be disabled. This actually hinders frame rate. Your custom frame rate limit is going to be 300. You're going to completely max this out for gameplay custom frame rate limit. When you're in the menu, you want to have this limited to 60. And whenever you're out of focus is if you have Task Manager open or if you have Spotify open and you're focused on that, the menu is going to be ran at 30, and that's including the game itself. So if you exit the game but if you minimize the game to open up Spotify and then you go back into the game itself, if you see that your frames are at 30 and then it skyrockets back to where it's supposed to be at, that's the reason being is because you've set your out of focus custom frame rate to 30. And the reason why you want to do this is because it keeps the priority at a low whenever you're not focused on the game. I'm going to go ahead and collapse this. Your brightness, you can have this set to whatever you want. I highly suggest that you have this at 55. I don't know why I had it at 59, but we're going to have it at 55. If you run a monitor and not a TV, I hope you don't run a TV, but if you have a monitor, you want to have this set to a 2.2 RGB, and then your NVIDIA highlights, you want to disable that. And then NVIDIA reflex low latency, you're going to have this enabled plus boost. Apply your settings and go to quality. Your field of view, set it to whatever you want. I run at 120 because I like the visibility. Your camera movement, you're going to move this down to least. This is going to help you in gunfights so your screen is not shaking around. Your render resolution is basically going to be set to 100. Don't have it too high because there's no point. You're not running anything higher than a 1080p. And if you run lower, it's going to lower the resolution of your feedback on your monitor. So the game's going to look pixelated just like it is, cut and dry. Streaming quality, you want to have this set to normal. Although, if you want to set this to low, you can if it helps out with performance. I have mine set to normal because I run a high-end GPU. Your texture resolution, you want to have this set to normal. The reason why you want this set to normal is because your GPU is going to be focused on a lot of things throughout the game. If you have it set on normal, you're not going to have a lot of issues. If you have it set to high though, it's going to be focused on trying to pull in every bit of graphic detail on everything that you're looking at in the game, including the players, including the surroundings. Just keep this on normal, keep it in a happy medium. If the texture resolution on normal is too much, you can drop this down to low, but I do not suggest it. It's going to get pixelated and it's just going to look like Play-Doh. For texture filter anisotropic, this is basically your surroundings. So what you see on the ground, rocks, ledges, make sure that you have this set to normal. This is going to let you see the details on everything that is around you. It's not going to look like Play-Doh, and you're actually going to be able to see a lot more of what's up ahead of you. Your particle quality, this has no effect on your GPU. If I put this on low, you can see that it's not taking anything with my VRAM usage. You can actually keep this on a high or low. I like to have it on high because the more pixelated it is, the more it takes up part of your screen. Whereas the higher the pixelation is, you can actually see more around whatever might be going on. So I keep that on high just so I can have a higher visibility on what's going on around me. Bullet impacts and sprays, it's not really needed. I like to have it just because, you know, it's nice to see where your bullets are hitting. Although, if you do not want to have this on, you don't have to. I like to have it on just to see where my shots are hitting. Tessellation is basically you seeing the elevation and the how low ledges are and rocks are. So if you're trying to climb up a ledge or whatever, you want to make sure that you can see it, right? Well, this is what the setting is for. I have this disabled because I don't need to see all of the details around me. And I've noticed that the higher the tessellation is, the more effect it has on my FPS. So I actually have this disabled. Dismemberment and gore effects, you can have this on if you want. I have it disabled mainly because whenever I'm shooting someone, I don't want to have a cloud of blood or gore surrounding my target. I want to be able to see that person clearly and actually be able to make my shots. On-demand texture streaming, you're going to want to have this set to disabled. Filmic strength, you want to have this set to 0. Film grain at 0. NVIDIA DLSS, you want to have this set to disabled. Anti-aliasing, everything is going to be running on T2X, including Modern Warfare 2. So if you are going to be playing Modern Warfare 2, just get used to playing around with the settings on T2X. If you have this disabled, Modern Warfare 2 is not going to go any lower. We're at a new era of gaming and this is a new game coming out. So if this game cannot run on T2X, you're not going to be able to play Modern Warfare 2 without it crashing or having some sort of graphic issue. Your depth of field, you want to have disabled. World motion blur, obviously you want to have this disabled. Weapon motion blur, have this disabled as well. Shadow map resolution, I have this set to low because I don't really care about the details of the shadows. If you care about the details of the shadows, kudos to you, but I don't really care. One of the other differences that we have in these settings compared to the last game is that cache spot shadows you want to have enabled and cache sun shadows you want to have enabled. Particle lighting you want to have on low, and DirectX ray tracing, ambient occlusion, and screen space reflection you want to have disabled. If you have any of these on, it's going to significantly increase your VRAM usage and it's going to cause your game to crash. So just keep aware of that. I have a 3080 and I still struggle with Warzone being able to run with high-end settings. Once these settings are set, go ahead and hit apply settings, click back, and you should be good to go. Give it a shot, see if your FPS is going to be any higher. If you still have issues, if your game is crashing or you're having issues with your FPS, it could be something as simple as going and exiting the game. And what we're going to do is you have to delete your temp files. And your temp files is basically a cache of files that's been collected over time. And you delete those and it's going to free up memory inside of your VRAM. So what you're going to do is you're going to exit the game. And once you exit the game, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the search bar down here and you're going to click run, or you're going to type in run. Once you type in run, you're just going to type in temp into the open and click OK. Every file you see here, you're going to highlight, you're going to delete, and whatever cannot close is because you currently have that open. So what you're going to do is you're going to check the box and you're going to skip. You're going to check the box, skip. Those files are currently open on my computer, so that's the reason why they are still there. After you get done there, you're going to open up run again, and you're going to type in %temp %. This is accessing a whole new compartment of temporary files that you can delete within your computer. To free up VRAM. After you do this, launch the game and see how it works. So guys, with that being said, we've went through all the settings on what we can do to actually increase FPS within the game and keep the CPU from crashing whenever playing Warzone. If you have any questions or any issues whatsoever, please leave a comment below. Again, I want to thank you guys for the 233,000 views on the last video that I created. And hopefully after I go through cutting and cropping parts of the video, we can just get straight to the chase and actually get you the settings you need. But guys, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. We're gonna try to make more videos in the future, and if you would like to see me live stream on YouTube, please leave a comment below. I would like to get your honest opinion on what you would like to see. If you would like to see me make a video on something else, please don't be afraid to make a comment and I will get right back to you and see if I can make a video on that as well. Until next time, thank you guys. Have a great day.